This video is going to be a look at the systemic failure that was the Baltimore Ravens offense and their 17-10 loss to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game Sunday afternoon. Simply put, an impatient game plan or lack thereof any plan, if you ask me, that recognizes what the Chiefs were good at, what they weren't good at. And I think also, too, our coaches and our players as well, by extension, appeared frustrated by being down 7-0 and 14-7. And I can only go off the plays that were called. We don't know what was in the plan, so to say, but what was called on the field was short-sighted, established nothing, and then even when things were established, didn't commit to those plays again or complementary plays. To me, this looked somewhat similar to things that have happened in the past, even under Greg Roman, whereby we went away from things that were working. And I'm not necessarily saying that we were running the ball down the Chiefs' throat, but if you look at their stats over the course of the season and their inability to stop the run against the Buffalo Bills, certainly that looks like something that we should have explored, particularly with some of the film I'm going to show you here today. So before we get into the film, at least for 2023, there is no system that we are. And this is a potentially great offense, and it was at times in 2023, obviously. I think Todd Monken has done a brilliant job of collecting concepts along the way, along his coaching stops, and then developing it into a mostly cohesive offense. Building up concepts from among all the other good or great coaches he's been exposed to over the years, and surely the Ravens staff this season had some input and some impact with some holdover concepts from last year. There's some positives and negatives, drawbacks, I should say, to not having a system, though. In this case, we got nothing established, and we utilized no complementary plays off the things that did have some level of success, meaning we didn't go back to things later on that were working, nor did we utilize complementary concepts off of things we had already shown the Chiefs. Last point before we start the film. Every time we got a first down in the first half, the ensuing play call was to get something done big. In my opinion, that clearly illustrates the impatience by our play caller and our coaching staff, and also the lack of recognition of how good the Chiefs' defense is. Simply put, at this point in time, as it stands right now, the Chiefs' defense is the better side to their team by far. Credit to their offense for getting things done on the first two possessions, but their defense was the key. Sunday, challenging and contesting things, adjusting to the situations, taking away the patterns or tendencies that we did have. And you'll see a very clear example of that on the first play here. Also making plays to get hands on the ball or beat tight in coverage. So certainly there was opportunities for us to get things done. We had some passes dropped. We had some passes overthrown. Situations where guys are open. Lamar doesn't have time to get it there. But this video is going to focus on the lack of commitment to the run game and or complementary plays, and identify what I think is a pattern of play calling that displays our unwillingness to just play football. From a coaching standpoint, I should say our unwillingness to call plays that get things established and then just build on those concepts. So we're going to get to film with the first play of the game from a Ravens standpoint. And if you've watched any of my videos or many other Ravens content creators over the year, I'm sure you knew exactly what play this was. As soon as we motion over to a 3-by-1, we're under center. Everybody knows it's outside zone to that side. Justice Hill, and including the Chiefs did. We're trying to combo it on the backside. Initially from the all-22, I thought, why are we trying to combo a frontside shade or one? But Linderbaum does a nice job on the nose tackle. So when Simpson gets on his tracks, he's engaged with this D-tackle, and then he can't really do anything with Leo Chenal on the backside, who gets involved in the tackle for a 1-yard gain. A very predictable play call that I know I have talked about multiple times on this channel. I'll give you the end zone angle so you can see it. Under center or pistol, 3-by-1 is a run concept to the 3 receiver side. Probably at this point 85-90% of the time. Chiefs knew it too by their alignment, playing their 4-3 look against 21 personnel. Simpson and Linderbaum are going to combo this D-tackle. Nice job by Ronnie Stanley, if you ask me, on the backside against Chris Jones. Forgive me, I've been quite sick the last week and a half. You can see we get nothing done there, so credit to the Chiefs. Eventually forces us into a third down situation. And I think this is a drop by Nelson Aguilar. I like the out motion that we were using, kind of forcing the Chiefs to declare their coverage. Was it going to be man? Was it going to be zone? You do see an example, if you ask me, of the Chiefs bringing heavy pressure, in this case, 5-man blitz, and someone responsible for the running back, depending on which side he peels out. Safety, who was lined up over Likely, is blitzing as well. Lamar's got to get the ball out quick. Doesn't necessarily have time to maybe come back to Zay underneath here. Gets the ball out to Aguilar underneath. Even if he catches it, probably going to be tackled short of the line to gain, so the Chiefs get a stop on our first possession. Of course, their offense goes right down and scores on our defense. I have nothing good to say about our defensive preparation or our identification as compared to what the Chiefs' defense did to us in the first half. Identifying formations, stopping the plays that are known to be run from that formation on film. I didn't think our defense did a good job at all on the first two possessions, but I know we played well to finish the second half, and everybody wants to focus on that. All right, moving forward, this is second possession. And so you can see we've got a unsuccessful run play here on a 3rd and 1. This is after a 9-yard completion to Andrews. So of course, we go hurry up. And, hey, guess what's coming? When we go hurry up and we have to put the back next to Lamar, it's going to be zone read. I don't know why we're blocking the read man here at all. Of course, it's the inside linebacker, Tranquil, that Likely doesn't go get, that ends up being totally unblocked to make the tackle. So here you have, if you ask me, an example of us blocking the read man, or what looks like should be the read man. If you say, well, Coach, I think he's reading him, Lamar's not going to keep the ball and run to outside leverage with Likely and Andrews digging those guys out, meaning giving up outside leverage to take inside leverage. Look at Likely's inside leverage. This is not designed for Lamar to keep this and go outside with him reading this inside linebacker. This is likely not going to get the correct guy, who is the player that ends up making the tackle on a 3rd and 1 for no gain. So we go jumbo personnel, excuse me, again, my apologies. We go jumbo personnel, 4th and 1. Cleveland reports as eligible, and we get 21 yards. Lamar nearly pops this. Like to see him sideline it, but Snead is a heck of an athlete, so credit to him. He's able to tackle Lamar in open space. I just like to see Lamar run to the sideline, go, and let's see if the guy can make the tackle while he's got to converge on you, while he's got to close down, as opposed to initiating space when there's all this space to run onto. But, I mean, it's Lamar Jackson. Like, to sit and second-guess him in the open field, come on. So, end zone angle, same play. You can see that we're totally unbalanced, single wing, if you will, with 4 offensive linemen to this side. I know there's been calls for a hold here on 98. I rarely see holds called on combo blocks, which is what Cleveland and Ronnie Stanley are executing there. But there is something to say here from the standpoint of how often do Cleveland and Stanley line up next to each other and do combo blocks together, with Cleveland being the outside guy, I should say. I almost wonder if we'd be better served to put Stanley and Moses next to each other, or Moses and Zeitler widen them up, because they're used to comboing together, working together in that same alignment, with Moses being outside of Zeitler. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense, but because we're giving away the play call here in any case. But Simpson gets a pancake, I think, on one of the safeties, and we get 21 yards. So we're still second possession, and now we're under center, 21 personnel. You can see the Chiefs in their 4-3. Thought they did this at least 2 or 3 times during the game. They take one of the inside linebackers, walk him up as a 3 technique, basically creating a 3-4 look out of their 4-3 structure. I would have liked to have seen us go at Chenal when he's lined up there. Now, in this case, it ends up being a power play, extremely well blocked for Gus Edwards to the tight end side, where Ricard is, obviously, with Simpson as the puller. Kolar, Moses, and Zeitler just going down, trying to create a wall here. Kick out block by Ricard, puller by Simpson, and then Gus getting downhill initially, Lamar booting off of it, 15 yards. We never came back to that. Not once that I saw. Not in the first half, not in the second half. Never saw this formation in play again, never saw a complementary play off of it, like line up like this and run a boot concept. Didn't see it. It seems like we're getting into one formation to run one play, which you cannot do at the highest levels of football. Well, people do it in the NFL, but if you're going to do it, you better execute that play. This one worked. It's far better to have 2 or 3 complementary plays from the same formation. I would say that's what the Chiefs did to our defense. Of course, we scored on the next play here, so the second possession was successful. The long touchdown pass from Lamar to Flowers. After Lamar extended the play, found him up the right sideline. So second possession, 7-all. However, the Chiefs go down and score again on a 16-play drive, converting 4 third downs on our defense that played so great in the second half, had no answers early, so Kansas City's up 14-7. I think at this point, either our coaches or players panicked in some manner. At least the play calls appeared panicked and impatient because the play calls do not reflect the situation. And I'm going to give you 2 examples here. So we're going to go third possession. Keep in mind, it's 14-7 Chiefs. This is a 2nd and 1. We've just had a 9-yard completion to Flowers on first down. So 2nd and 1, 10 minutes left in the second quarter. 2nd and 1, and we're going RPO, meaning there's a run concept with Justice Hill, and there's a pass down here to Flowers. Now, it looks like to me Flowers is maybe flattening this out, and maybe Lamar's trying to lead him upfield. And I think we have numbers, but in my opinion, if Lamar's reading the guy I think he is, which is this defensive end right here, then that should be a give. Now, I'm not saying that the numbers look spectacular up here, but when you watch this play unfold, and Lamar's not looking at this, he's looking at the read man, we've got numbers. Ricard's working out there. Moses is the puller, and then we've got the ball carrier. We've got numbers there. Also looks pretty good down to the bottom side here to me as well. I think Lamar's throwing this out in front of Zay, and Zay, look, you've gone in motion all the way across the field. It's not easy to stretch that motion all the way across and then have body awareness, proprioceptive awareness to realize that you're flattening out, going almost parallel to the line of scrimmage a little bit. I mean, he is moving towards the line of scrimmage, but I think Lamar is right here in terms of throwing this ball out in front, trying to get Zay moving forward so that he can make some of these cuts or, make a guy miss, make a second guy miss, and at least get a first down. I'm not sure I like the play call on 2nd and 1. Okay, moving forward, the 3rd and 1 play call obviously necessitates a run. We're trying to get the first down now, so we don't have to punt from our own 34. So Justice Hill gets 2 yards. That same DN that I pointed out, actually it's a different guy, but 32, inside linebacker Bolton, steps down from way off screen to get involved with the tackle, but it's a successful play. You'll take this. They're trying to force Lamar to keep it by stepping Karlaftis down. But Lamar isn't reading 56. Lamar, I think, is reading this guy who was extended, not wide enough to stop us from getting 1 yard. In this case, Reed and 32 and Karlaftis get involved, hold Justice Hill to a 2-yard gain. So credit for them, but we got the first down. Successful play. So, of course, the very next play, we throw the football. I'm not saying that bad things are going to happen every time we throw the football, but in this case, it did. I feel like we had no commitment to the run game at all, and we only ran the ball when we were forced to, meaning this third possession here, 9-yard completion to Flowers. The 2nd and 1 is an RPO. I think Lamar should probably give the football. I question Monken, why don't you just call a run play? And as opposed to something that gives Lamar an option to throw it out there, which, hey, we've had times where those screens are successful. Zay popped a big 68-yard touchdown against the Bengals that got called back for a hold on a somewhat similar play out there. We didn't run the ball on a called run play until we were forced to in this situation. And then as soon as we got a first down, we're looking for something big, in my opinion. I'm not showing you the all-22. I'm just showing you the end zone angle. It's a poor job by Ronnie Stanley on the second engagement. 90, who ended up hurting his ACL, is able to grab and then pull to get away and escape from Ronnie and slap the ball out of there that Karlaftis recovers. Now, look, our defense gets a stop when the Chiefs, and I have to digress here a little bit, in all their wisdom and analytics are cool. Get it. They went for it on a 4th down when there's 6 minutes left in the second quarter. A field goal puts Kansas City up 17-7. Keep in mind, they get the ball to open the third quarter. And I know their head coach has all these Super Bowls and and everybody thinks he's a genius, but you're 6 minutes away from halftime. You need one more stop if you're the Kansas City Chiefs defense, which you've gotten on 2 of our first 3 possessions. A 17-7 lead with getting the ball to start the third quarter, and if your defense gets a stop in the second quarter, an opportunity to double up looks pretty damn good to me. But they go for it on 4th down. They don't get it. Our defense is able to stand up. Analytics is cool, though, right? All right, 4th possession now. After that stop, 6 minutes left, 6:20 left. One of my favorite plays that we've retained from Greg Roman. Of course, it only gets 5 yards. I don't think Isaiah Likely does a great job here out on the edge at all. It's a borderline unstoppable play if you read it correctly. Counter option, Linderbaum pulling, Stanley also pulling. They're logging into the boundary. Likely is told to arc release and get out in front for Lamar to keep it. Andrews is also working up to the front side inside backer because we can't block him otherwise. And you can see that Andrews gets him. Likely is set up on the safety. Lamar's kept it. And we should be in business. Likely doesn't press his advantage on the safety at all. Who makes a great play, don't get me wrong. And we are held to 5 yards. Now, having said that, it's a great play by their defense. Having said that, it is a positive play. We could go back to this. The very next play is the amazing catch by Lamar on the tipped pass. I think for like 13 or 14 yards. But we never go back to that counter option at all. It's almost like we're too proud to go back to things that work. The power play to Gus. The counter option to Lamar. This was ridiculous. Could have been horrible ending for the Ravens there that gave the Chiefs the ball back right in our red zone or close to it. As it stands, gives us a 1st down. So what do you think's coming? Something that's settled? Something to get us the football moving 5-6 yards? We've got at least a couple of concepts on the ground that we can use. We're still only talking about 5 minutes left in the second quarter. Nope, it's a reverse to Zay Flowers. Now, again, credit to their defense. They're cross-keying this the way they should. I believe that they've stunted the strong safety here off the weak side, which I have no clue why they're doing that, unless they feel like it's a reverse, which we have not shown all year. But this inside linebacker is cross-keying Patrick Ricard, which is exactly what you should do when Ricard is in the game, because generally he's going to take you to the football. If he's not there, this is a huge play, because Ricard is blocking that safety, who, again, really has no reason to blitz off that edge unless they think it's a pass play or a reverse. And credit to the Chiefs. We just got a 1st down. It's 1st and 10. We probably are throwing the football, except we're going for something big and unusual, faking our pin pull pitch with Ricard pulling away, and that pulls this defender who is paying attention. You can see that everybody else is just looking for the football. That guy was reading a key, meaning he has a key, Ricard, that he's been told and he believes will take him to the football, and in this case it does. I think it's a very short-sighted and impatient play. With 5 minutes left in the second quarter, we've got a quarterback who makes plays for us with his legs, who's delivered the ball to multiple receivers across multiple concepts this year, and we've got a run game that's dangerous as hell with 3 running backs who can execute it. And instead, we're going for a reverse on 1st and 10. I think it's a horrible play call. Credit to 23. I think it's Tranquil 23. And also credit to Jones for this play here. It's a 3rd and 9. My point is our play calls did us no favors. Lamar's trying to sidearm this to get it around Jones, who's obviously got a lot of length and a lot of awareness. And once he's not engaged by the right tackle at all, he's just going to get his arms out there. You can see how unbelievable of a play this is. Lamar's, trying to sling this around. I think Lamar took just a split second too long to get rid of this football after the snap. So he's holding it just for a moment to try to hold the Chiefs instead of just immediately whipping it out there. I think the feet are a little slow here. That right foot took too long to get planted for my money. And that gave Jones just a slight more of a split second to get out here. It's a brilliant play by him, so credit to him. But in my opinion, we're slightly slow getting this ball off. And that opens up the possibility for him to make a great play, which he does. I think the play calling did us no favors on the 1st and 10, reversed to Zay Flowers, kind of set us behind the sticks. Of course, our defense goes and gets another stop with 3 minutes left. We're still down 14-7. So now we've moved forward to the 5th possession of the first half. Chiefs do get the ball to begin the third quarter. We've got it near midfield. So there's plenty of time for us to score and also for them to score. The way the game is officiated now, with all the gifts that they give to offenses, there's plenty of time for both teams to score with 3 minutes left. I feel like our play calls, at least when we run the clock down after this completion to Isaiah Likely, should have reflected the fact that we wanted to not only get a score ourselves, 3 points or 7 points, but not leave time for the Chiefs to score as well. So that 6-yard gain to Likely into the boundary sets up a 2nd and 4. And we've run the clock down to the 2-minute warning, rightfully so. I like the decision there. Because we have plenty of time here. 2 minutes left, 2nd and 4. Does Todd Monken know that the Chiefs are going to play man? Yes, I think so. He's seen enough data. He knows what's going to happen based upon certain things they've shown in this game and in others. With time remaining, it's probably the right call by the Chiefs. Force us into a lower percentage throw, which we take. I'm not saying that we should have ran the football from this formation necessarily, but it's an option that we just did not go to on this day. We end up missing it. Lamar is rightfully getting rid of the ball really quickly and trying to throw it to the outside shoulder of Aguilar in a matchup against McDuffie, I think it's McDuffie, who's a pretty solid corner, if you ask me. Really impressive no matter where he plays. You can see Lamar's getting rid of it quick. Aguilar is gone. Everybody knows where this football is pretty much going against man. Ball's just overthrown. If we complete it, cool, great, we've got a big gain. My point in showing you this is our play calls, when we got first downs, were impatient. When you combine that with what you see here, 2nd and 4, and we're throwing deep, we don't need to score on one play. That's a throw to score, in my opinion. Of course, the 3rd down pass is high to Justice Hill. I also think that George Karlaftis plays a role here in kind of getting in the window. And that goes with what I said in the lead-in, which is credit to the Chiefs for contesting things, challenging things. Lamar has read this quickly. It's a zone. L'Jarius Sneed is pushing OBJ inside and then going to settle into the flats. Point is, it's a brilliant defensive call by their defensive coordinator to try to account for this route in the flats. If the ball is thrown exactly on target for Justice Hill to catch, the corner might make the tackle. Additionally, again, I think George Karlaftis is possibly impacting the height of this throw by getting his hands up. I do think the throw is nonetheless still a little bit high, and Justice Hill is unable to come up with it. Sneed is there anyway and gets the stop. We are forced to punt on our 5th possession. And, of course, we know what the Chiefs did. They go down and add a field goal. My point in bringing up this possession wasn't to illustrate Lamar's, quote, overthrow to Nelson Aguilar and the throw to Justice Hill, which I think was impacted by Karlaftis and the coverage that the Chiefs played, which, again, I think was just a brilliant call. It's to talk about the play calls on 2nd and 4. And the play calls after we got first downs. Being down 17-7 at the half, we played awful on both sides of the football. We just did. We played awful. Credit to the Chiefs' defense for coming in with a nice plan and executing it. For us to only lose 17-10 tells you the talent differential is there. I know that Chiefs fans have listened and don't like it. I really don't care. It's obvious. If it was the other way around and the Chiefs played horrible and the Ravens scored twice their first 2 possessions and played great on defense, the score would not have ended up 17-10. It would have been 37-10. So we played terrible on both sides of the ball. That's what I care about. All the pregame stuff, the ridiculous behavior by Kelsey, Mahomes, Tucker, whoever was at fault, I really don't care. No tone was set by these guys on offense at all during the game. And I think that starts with the play calls that were impatient, that were also not complimentary, meaning we did not take established concepts that worked, even if it was only 5 yards or 15 yards with the power play to Gus, and then build off of them. It makes sense that there's less time and space to execute things offensively in the playoffs. you're facing better defenses. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the standard. So when you find something that works, go back to it and or build off of it with a complementary play. Because we never saw the power play to Gus again, we never saw the counter option with Lamar where Andrews and Likely both arc released outside to lead block. I didn't think Likely did a good job on that one. 5 yards there is the floor for us. That's possibly a 20-yard gain if we actually go attack the safety. Those two calls, us not coming back to them. We didn't see QB counter read at all. Bash. Why? Shit, why not? It's been a great play. It makes me wonder what our mentality was as a staff. And then when you combine it with the 2nd and 4 play call, which to me looks short-sighted, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Even if we bleed the clock there with a run, we force the Chiefs to make a decision. My suspicion is if we run the ball there, we probably get to 3rd and 1 or even gain the first down. I would have run QB counter read there or counter option. QB counter read bash is what I'm talking about. I would have run that. Try to get us into a first down situation where now we're past the 50 and we're going to get a field goal. If we're not going to get a field goal, we can attempt a long field goal and or not allow the Chiefs to go down and score again to make it 17-7. I think tremendous lack of awareness by our coaches. We had this all or nothing mentality from an offensive standpoint. Did we have missed opportunities in the second half? Yes. Turnovers. Poor. I'll actually have a video out later today on what looks like a long-term problem with red zone and inside the 10 awareness and ball security on the part of our players over a series of years. It has to be talked about. Multiple fumbles or turnovers inside the opponent's red zone, 10-yard line, or at the goal line that we've committed in the playoffs to lose games. And it's multiple players. It's not just one guy. When there's multiple players who those things happen to in the biggest moments, you have not spent enough time focusing on those things. Whatever the solution is, guys smarter than me could come up with. This video, however, was on our lack of commitment to the run game. Even when there's a couple of concepts that worked, I just don't understand it. That possession to end the second quarter for me was a huge chance for us to get the initiative back and give our players momentum going into the locker room, at worst, down 14-10 or maybe even tied 14-all. Instead, we turned it into a -3 situation, meaning we were down 14-7 and we ended up being down 17-7. Completely mismanaged offensive-wise from a coaching standpoint. Doesn't look like to me Lamar has any other option there on that play. The slot fade to Aguilar is what I'm talking about. So no fault to him. There's no other options built in. If you ask me, it's an all-or-nothing play. That's my point. Brutal day. Not fun for me to break it down for you. If you listen this long, thank you. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comment section. The offense failed on a systemic level, if you ask me, and it's something they will not shake for another 12 months or so until they win an AFC championship and get to a Super Bowl. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this direct and hopefully realistic look at our systemic failure offensively in the loss to the Chiefs, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media so other Ravens fans can check it out as well.